Okay, so yes, today we are going to talk about sustainable fashion. And we have a crowd of girls here. And I assume you guys all enjoy fashions, maybe or maybe not, right? So feel free to, good. All of you know sustainable fashions. I'll put the chat box. You can see my chat box, right? Would you be able to see my chat box? Not really, right? Okay. If anything of the screen is blocked, let me know. Okay, I'll fix it. Cool. So today we're going to talk about sustainable fashions, and I think you just did some poll. There's a few questions we have set out, and you've answered, right? I can't see the result, so maybe Benita can enlighten me about their answers. So it should be asking what motivates you to buy clothes, and how much of your wardrobe do you wear, actually wear, and what else? What's the last question?
So the first question, what motivate you buy clothes? Two students say I feel good, one say other. The second question, how long does the satisfaction of buying something new last for you? One is about a day, and then another two is more than a week. And then the third question is how much of your wardrobe is left unworn? So one student is less than a quarter, one is a quarter, one is over half.
Wow, that's quite a lot of unworn clothes. Who have half of his wardrobe unworn? If you're not like if you don't, if you're not, who is it? Sean. Oh, okay. Is it?
I pressed wrong.
No. Oh, you pressed wrong. Okay. Yeah, half unworn is quite a lot actually, but it can happen. Sometimes maybe because clothes were given to you by other people and it may not be the style you like, so you won't be wearing them, or you have so many jackets, but the weather is getting warmer and warmer every day. You don't need that many jackets, so in the end, half of your wardrobe is left unworn, right? And I think one of you said that buying new items only gives you satisfactions for about one day, right? Yeah, it sometimes happens, or less than one day, a week or so. Cool. So we're gonna look into sustainable fashions. Actually, this term sounds like a paradox. Do you know what a paradox is? A paradox, like two opposite things put together, right? Because fashion is something that like is a fad, so it happens in a short-term trend and then it will change constantly, right? But sustainable is something that will last, like it can endure for a long time, and that's sustainable. So how can we have something that is short-term, that can change all the time, and yeah, but you do it in a sustainable way? So we'll look at it today. And so welcome all. This is part of the teaser series for the SDG Young Influencer Program. And maybe some of you have already enrolled in the program. So apart from the series we're going to have for this week in July, yesterday is the first one, all the way to the end of this week, Friday, we also have a series of program in August. So if you enroll in the program, you can enjoy the August in-person sessions together with some site visits as well. We'll talk about it more towards the end. You may have heard of it already. Okay, so what do we expect to learn today? Again, we'll learn about what SDGs are, if you don't already know about them. And in particular, we will explore SDG number 12, which is the responsible consumptions and productions. And particularly, we'll look at how this applies to the fashion industry and how we can have a sustainable consumption and productions in the fashion industry, and what we can do as individual, what you can do. Even though you may only be 10-year-old, there are a lot you can do. Even though you may not be the main person who pay for your clothes, but there's still a lot you can do. Cool? So you may have learned about this yesterday. So I'm gonna have a little quiz for you guys. So this SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, how many are there altogether? You've seen it already. 17, very good. I saw this is Macy. Yeah, 17 of them. Now so this is shown on the slides already. So do you remember when was the expected year? When do we want to have all these goals achieved by? Which year? Oh, okay, Missy, very quick. You can unmute yourself.
2030.
Very good, 2030. So we have only like around 7 years left. Yeah, and these goals are very important. We want to build, this is set by the United Nations. They're the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Sometimes they're also referred to as the global goals. And yeah, we want to build a healthier and cleaner, safer world for the future generations, or maybe not too far in the future for the current generations. And so we have all these 17 goals. And underneath these 17 goals, we have more specific targets. These are universal, so that means anyone can do, any country can do. It's transformative, it's actionable. These are things that if you do it, it will bring changes, and it's integrated the whole society and you'll see here. So this is a diagram. What you see is how we can further classify these 17 goals. As you can see, it catered to the planet. There are 5 P's: the planet, people, prosperity, peace, and partnership. So when we care for the planet, there are like these 5 goals: life on Earth, life and on Earth, on land, life below water, our climate, and how we produce and consume clean water. We'll have a healthy planet. When we have a healthy planet, then people can thrive in it, right? Then we can build a society where there's no hunger, no poverty, people have good health, good education, and we can have equal gender equality. Then we can prosper. We can thrive economically as well, and we'll have peace, and we can work together. Cool. So this is what SDG is about. And in particular, well, if we look closer to our regions, we're in the Asia, right? Hong Kong or East Asia, Southeast Asia, Northeast Asia. How are we doing so far? If you look at this diagram, how do you think? So this is from 2000 and all the way track to 2018. What do you think? Do you think we're doing okay, decent in our progress in these SDGs? You can raise your hand if you think it's okay, not too good. We can do better. If you think we're doing okay, I think Cheryl and Sean think that we're doing okay. So Macy and Mavis, you don't think we're doing too good, right? Why not? Why not? Macy, what do you think?
No, you're doing okay, but like, yeah.
We could do better, right? Yeah, I think so too. And in particular, you can see like the blue color means we're making progress, right? So among these 17 goals, there are quite a few, like there are 14 of them we are making a little bit of progress into. But there are a few, actually, we are going backward. And in particular, is the one that we're going to talk about, goal 12, the responsible consumptions and productions. We are actually going backward. We're not doing as well in the way we consume and produce, right? You can keep this in mind. We can think about possible reasons why in our region, in Asia, so Asia includes country maybe like Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. So a lot of them are China. A lot of us are developing country, right? So why are we not doing as well in this particular aspect? You can think about it, okay? Oops, sorry. Okay, so this is another study that has been done more in Hong Kong. So when they ask the organization asked people in Hong Kong which SDGs they care most about. And what was the result? Which SDGs do people in Hong Kong care most about? Can all see? Which one? You can type it in the chat box. The answer is too obvious, right? It's goal 13, the climate actions. How about you guys? Maybe I should ask you guys. Among the 17 SDG, which one do you care most about? Which one do you think is most important to you? Okay, Mavis also think climate is important to you, most important to you. Cool. Yeah, you guys can keep typing. Sean also think climate is. Oh, I see. Is there a particular reason? Because you can feel the heat in Hong Kong, right? we're affected. If you're in Europe, you'll feel it even more these days. There have been a lot of wildfire and heat waves hitting them, right? Quality education, Cheryl says quality education. I don't really know which ones. All of them are so important, right? Yeah, exactly. Cool. And yeah, so actually this study did show that people in Hong Kong are quite aware of the different issues in SDG, but there's one very interesting finding is that the goal 12, responsible consumptions and productions, actually rank the least. So people, the Hong Kong public care least about consuming or producing in a responsible way. This is actually quite surprising. Do you find it surprising? I see Mavis puzzled. Not really. Oh, okay. Why not? Why don't you think it's so you expected it?
Kinda.
Is there a reason why you think they don't care as much for this?
Because it less affects the world.
Because you think it affects the world less, right? Maybe that's the reason as well. So that's why one of the main purpose or goal for today's session is to want you guys to understand how important this goal is impacting the world, how the way we're consuming and how we're producing actually is hurting our world in a very severe, a very serious way. Okay, so let's look together. So what is responsible consumptions and productions? And think about the consumptions, things that you consume every day. You can type or you can unmute yourself and share. What are some of the things you can think of, products that you use every day? Sorry. Any things you use every day, use very often? Any products? Coffee cups. Oh, that's Anita. Coffee cups. Okay. I think Macy was saying something. Are you saying something, Macy? Maybe no. No, okay. Yeah. Or just look at right in front of you. You may be looking at a computer. You may be looking at an iPad, a tablet, right? Think about the cell phones. These are electronic products that we use, right? At your home, there are a lot of things that you consume. By the time you wake up in the morning, you turn on the light, right? The light is something that you consume. The lighting, the light that comes in, right? The bed that you're sleeping in, right? The chair that you're sitting on right now, and well, definitely the clothes that you're wearing, okay? And then when you go to the fridge to get your breakfast, the fridge that you're using, okay? And then when you open the fridge, the food that you're getting, right? What did you have for breakfast or lunch today? Bread, okay, yeah. So is your bread homemade or bought as a package? Plastic water bottle, yeah, exactly. The drinks that you buy, the soft drinks that you buy, and basically everything that's in your house that you can touch, that material, are products that it's being produced and with some kind of raw materials. Maybe the desk that you are using, that you are sitting on, it's made from some wood log in a forest in maybe Brazil, in Malaysia, right? So the wood are materials that we use to build a lot of our furnitures, right? And the computer that you're using, there are a lot of metals in there, right? Where do you think those metal comes from? Where does it come from? Anybody want to share an answer? Where do you think the metals come from? Maybe the wire, the copper wire, the iron, the steel, the aluminum. A lot of these metals all come from the earth.
Really?
We have, yeah.
Oh wow.
Sorry, I can.
I said oh wow.
You said sorry. A well. A well.
Oh wow.
Oh, the wow. Yeah. Exactly. So it's come from like by digging up the earth and in the ore. So that's all the resources and material that we're getting from like the aluminum can, right? So all the things that we're using are produced from materials, ultimately from the earth, resources from the earth, right? So it doesn't come from nowhere. It's being manufactured, it's being processed and made into the things that we're using and consuming every day. And here at the diagram that we're looking at, show us something. It's called the material footprint. It's a very important concept. It's a very important tools for us to know how much are we using from the earth? How much raw material are we extracting from the earth in order to manufacture, to make the things that we're using every single day, right? So that's called the material footprint. Material footprint. And you can see from the graph here, right? In the year 2000, we are using around 54 billion tons of materials. That's like maybe metals, maybe fossil fuels, maybe wood, biomass, or other kind of plants material. And now we are about double what we have used in 2000. And about how many years? 50 years? No, actually 40 years later, we will be quadruple, 4 times more than what we are using. Okay, it's a lot. And it says that the amount of material that we're using, the raw material that we're extracting, it's growing, it's increasing more than the world's populations. That means the stuff that we're using increases more than the number of people. So everybody is using more stuff every year. Is it true? Do you think so? Do you feel that you're using more things than your parents, or your parents are using more things than your grandparents? Yes, that's very true. And another thing is, apart from outpacing the population, it says the amount of stuff that we are using increases, but it increases faster than economic growth. So what's the implications of that? That means we're using more stuff, but we are not getting better economically. How does that happen? Didn't we produce more things? People buy more things, the economy will become better. But this statistic actually tells us that not anymore. Why is that the case? Why is that the case? This is a difficult question. See if anyone want to challenge this question. How come we are producing more stuff, people are buying more stuff? Yeah, it's difficult, right? That's because we are using the material, the raw material, less efficiently, less efficient. So by consuming more, it doesn't bring more productivity. It doesn't bring more satisfaction. It doesn't bring more happiness. So that just tells us something about the way that we are producing and consuming is actually not very good. Okay, so let's look at another statistic. You will see why the way we are consuming and producing is actually not good. So think about your lifestyle, or Hong Kong people's lifestyle. Think about the kind of food that you eat maybe every day. Do you go to a restaurant, eat out, and a lot of packaged food, a lot of imported food, a lot of maybe beef, steak, hot pot, buffet? How often do you eat buffet? Let me get a survey. I should put it in a poll. How often do you eat buffet? Once a month? Anybody eat buffet once a month? Not really. Twice a year? Twice a year?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Once every 2 weeks? That's a lot.
Yeah, for 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks. I see, I see. Yeah, so we can eat buffet, we eat a lot of food. Think about the kind of clothes we wear, how often do we go shopping for clothes, and how do we travel around, amount of electricity we use. That's our lifestyle, right? And if every single person on earth, we have about 8 billion people in the world today, right? If every person in the world adopt the lifestyle that we are living in Hong Kong, do you want to guess how many earths of resources do we need to produce that much stuff? To produce the amount of food, the amount of clothes, the amount of energy to support our lifestyle. How many earths of resources do you think we need? Just take a random guess. 14? Something say 14. Sean said 14, right? That's a good guess. 50. Wow. 50. That will be really scary if it's 50. Okay, so let me show the answer. The answer is 4.2. 4.2. It's much less than your guess, but don't be like, oh, that's okay. Just 4.2 Earth, not 14 or 50, right? We are okay. What do you think? How many Earth do we actually have? Right? We only have one. We only have one, right? If everybody, exactly, just one. If everybody in the world lives the Hong Kong lifestyle or the developed country lifestyle, we won't have enough resource. We won't have enough resources to produce that much stuff. And we have not talked about cleaning up the waste yet, right? We don't have that much resources. That means either we are using the resources for our future generations. So that means we are robbing yours or your children's and your grandchildren's resources to fulfill our needs, or we are robbing other people's, maybe people's in less fortunate countries. They cannot have all these because we are using all of these, right? So that's why having a sustainable and responsible consumption and production pattern is very important because we do not have that much resources. Okay, now, before we go into talk more about fashions, because as you see from here, there are many aspects of the way we consume, right? We consume food, we consume clothing, we consume energy. So we want to just focus about clothing for the later part, the second part of our presentations for our seminar. But now I do want to play a Kahoot. So you can go to the Kahoot. Let me come out of it and let me show you the code so you can start. Yay! So you guys can let me share my screen again. Yay! So this is the game pin. You guys can log in to the 7384925, so we can play this game together. Have you logged in? Oh, I see Sean already.
Hey, what?
To see if you guys have some knowledge about the fashion industries in Hong Kong and how sustainable it actually is. So we have Macy, David, Sean, and we're reading for Cheryl. Don't worry, take your time. There are some questions about, some of them are actually quite difficult. But some of them are very straightforward. So don't worry. Cool. So we have everyone. So let's start. Get the ball rolling. Dun, dun. So our first question. Can you hear the music? Dun, dun. Okay. So which SDG is most related to sustainable fashion? Which one do you think is most related? Yay! Yes, it's responsible consumptions and productions. One of you answer climate action. Climate actions, it's relevant as well, and but how it's being produced, well, that's part of it as well. Like it included the clean water and climates all like taken into that as well. Cool. So next one. Question 2. So how much clothes in our wardrobe are rarely worn? So you know you, but how about on average, what do you think? The two of you didn't answer. So you're struggling which one to take, right? Yeah, so the answer is 1/3. 1/3 is actually quite a lot. Yeah, it's more than a quarter. You guys are about a quarter, right? 1/3, yes. I think some older generations, they may have even more. Cool, cool, cool. So let's see, next question. Which clothing brand does not have a recycling program? That was very fast. Oh, you guys are fast too. Yay. H&M has a recycling program. Uniqlo and Zara also has a recycling program. That means after you've finished wearing some of the items and you don't want it, don't throw away in the dumpster. Okay, don't throw away in the garbage can. You can actually bring it back and they will recycle it. That's very good. A&F doesn't yet, so you can lobby for them to have a recycling program. Cool. So who is number 1? Cheryl is number 1 right now on the fire. Let's see. Question 4. Where can I not buy secondhand clothing? So the 3 of them you can buy secondhand. The one place you cannot buy secondhand clothing. You may not have heard these brands. Oh, cool. All of you answered correctly. Wow, amazing. Have you been to the other ones? Have you buy secondhand clothing there? Do you know, or it's just
Green ladies. Everyone got it wrong.
Who got it wrong?
Everyone.
No. Everyone got it wrong. Yes, Luxport. Oh, yeah, because you guys put Luxport. Yes, Clean Kitty. That's the one you don't have it. Because it sounds like a green name, right? Clean. But no. We'll talk about this secondhand clothing brand in Hong Kong. So you can shop with your mom, with your family, with your friends as well to these places. So let's look next questions. This is the true-false question. On average, local Hong Kongers spend more on clothing than health or education. Do you think it's true or false? Do you think? It's actually true. It's actually true. On average, Hong Kong people spend more money on clothing than health and education. Does it surprise you? 3 of you got it correct, but does it surprise you? I was surprised. I did not.
Yeah.
Most people do. Cool. Okay. Cheryl still in the lead. So we'll see. So what is the number 1 reason, what do you think, to unuse clothing item? The ones that have not been used. What do you think is the number 1 reason to unuse? Impulsive buying. Yeah, impulsive buying. Have you done this before? Impulsive buying for clothing or fashion items?
A lot.
No? Your
A
mom?
lot.
A lot.
It was because I brought a notebook and then I didn't need it.
Notebook. So you got a notebook, you just look cute at that moment, or you suddenly feel that you need it, but later on you realize that you don't really need it. Yeah, impulsive buying. Okay, so number 7. How many tons of garments in Hong Kong are recycled each year? These are very close numbers, actually. So how many do you think got recycled? It's actually quite a lot. It's a higher number, but that's actually not a lot if you compare to how many tons of garment we actually consume each year. This is probably around like 1%, less than 1%. It's being recycled. Okay. Exactly. So how many tons of clothes are being tossed daily? That was a fast question. You guys are fast. Yes. So you get the highest number. Yes, the answer is the highest number. These are very close number. So 340 tons. And you just multiply 360 days. So you can see the amount of clothes that we throw away every day. It's crazy. Cool. So question number 9. Now see if you have recycled clothing before. What items are not socks? Do you know why? Why is it not accepted?
I don't know.
No, because it's too personal, and it's difficult. Normally, it's being that like really warm. Yeah, and so there is a stigma of wearing other people's socks. Okay, so the last one, well, sure, we're still in the lead. Okay, last one. So how much footprint, we actually seen this number. How much footprint does clothing account for in Hong Kong? Yay, 15%. We've seen this number. 15% is accounted for clothing. So if we can reduce our consumption footprint or production footprint on clothing, will help the use of resources a lot as well of our earth. Okay, very good. So, ta-da! Hey, how come? Sure, I thought you're number 1. So who got to the first place? Oh, suddenly, Sean, you got to the first place. Congratulations. But all of you have done very well in trying to answer these questions. And some of them, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but you may not, it's not something that you would know. But by doing these questions at this Kahoot, you will probably know a little bit more about the current status of fashions in Hong Kong. So let me stop sharing for now and go back to just a second. Thank you for taking part in the, so let me share the screen. Oops. So come back to the, yeah. So let's continue. So yeah, you do know quite a bit about the fashion, sustainable fashion in Hong Kong. So as we said, fashion industry is closely linked to the SDG number 12 because it uses a lot of resources and it generates products that we consume quite a lot. Think about the wardrobe you have and the amount of clothing items you have. And yeah, maybe just very quickly, how many pieces of clothing items do you think you have now? If you have to come up with a rough number.
Like 1,000.
1,000? Who is that? Is it that's Mavis? 1,000 items you have? That's
Me and my sis plus together.
together, you and your sisters. You share your wardrobe. That's actually a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
1,000. Who have more than 1,000 items in their wardrobe? So all the other 3 have less than 1,000 items. You have more than 1,000 items. Yeah. Because fashion item is not just clothing, right? The clothes we wear, but also accessories, right? Shoes, the necklace, jewelries, those are all part of the fashion industry as well, the accessory. So, so we use different resources to make them. So how can we manage a sustainable use and efficient use of these resources? We don't want to waste them or use so much to produce something that we only use for a very short period of time. So that's the target 12.2. And target 12.5 is to reduce waste generations. So when we produce in the fashion industry, when they make a piece of clothing, it may not be worn many times. Immediately it goes to the dump. And some of the garments or some of the clothing items was never sold before they go into the landfill site. Can you imagine that? They've never been in the store, but they directly truck down into the landfill site. So that's a complete waste of the resources and energy we put in to produce these items, right? So how do we reduce waste? And there's a hierarchy. I want you guys to also to remember there's a hierarchy of waste reduction. So we go from prevention first. This is always the first thing we think about, prevention and then reductions. Then we go think about reusing or recycling the items. And also, how can we let more people know about a sustainable lifestyle? We can actually live in harmony with the nature in the way we spend our money, in the way we buy stuff, okay? And so let's take a look at the fashion industry. Fashion industry is a very lucrative money-making industry. 2.5 trillion, this is US dollar, I assume, $2.5 trillion industry. I don't know how many zero you add to there. Many people make a lot of money from this industry, okay? But at the same time, it is the second highest user of water worldwide. This industry consumes a lot of water. And on the left-hand side, right-hand side, this statistic I really want you guys to keep in mind. Many of you are wearing t-shirts. Are you wearing a cotton t-shirt? Maybe polyester? But if you are wearing a cotton t-shirt, see how much water is needed. 2,700 liters of water to make just that one t-shirt you're wearing. Just that one. And that amount of water is equivalent to how much you drink for 3 years. Think about that. 3 years worth of drinking water is used to make that t-shirt. And think about how many t-shirts have you thrown away the last year? How many? Probably quite a lot, right? And yeah, so because when we grow cotton, it uses a lot of water. When we turn them into fiber, when we dye the cotton fiber, a lot of water goes in. And so it's a very heavy use of water. And so how do we keep the product in use for longer time? Because we've put in so much resources into it, so much energy into it. We don't want to just make it, wear it one time and throw it away. So how can we make it last longer? That's the number one goal we want to reach in our consumption pattern. Okay, oops, sorry. So this is another fashion industry at a glance. So because of the SDG movement and the promotions, the fashion industry actually respond quite well among many other industries to incorporating the SDGs. Why do they want to do that? One of the main reason is here, the second two, the two boxes to the right. You can see that the brands that are committed to sustainable development, they actually grow more. More people want to buy from fashion brands that say that they are committed to doing good to the environment or to the society, right? I don't know about you. If you know that a company or a fashion brand, they said that they choose material that are better for society, they use less water than normal, would you be more willing to buy stuff from them? Would you? You would? Yeah, they say
Yeah,
that,
probably.
yeah, you amount to 71%, because 71% said that they would, right? But I guess the key is, do you know which brands are committed? Can you trust them that they are committed, right? So many fashion brands, they are trying to target these group of people who actually want companies to do better goods, to do goods for the environment and for the society, right? And millennials. So you guys are the millennials, right? I'm the baby boomers. You guys are millennials. Yes, and exactly, because you guys 75% said they are willing to pay more for a sustainable brand. And yeah, and they buy.
Pay more, but then it will be better.
Sorry?
I wouldn't pay more, but it would be better.
It will be better, right? Okay. Yeah. Maybe in the end, you still want to look at the piece of clothing, because if it's poor design, but it says that it's good for the environment, you probably still won't wear it. You won't buy it, right? So you do have to have a balance of both. That's right. And yeah, but I do want you to think about, apart from the design, apart from that, I really like that piece of clothing, I really like that brand. You also think about what your actions, what your purchase decision is doing to the environment, right? And yeah, okay. So as I said, they're actually, we are buying more clothes. It says that right now, compared to 2000s, we are buying more clothes, but the problem is we are using them less. We are keeping them less. So think about the clothing items you wear. So how often do you change your wardrobe? Do you have new clothing items every season? But I guess for you guys, a slightly different, because you're growing, right? Probably next year, your old clothes, you really can't fit in you anymore, right? So it's different. But for us, we don't grow anymore. However, we still change our wardrobe maybe every season, because there are new clothing items out there, right? So there's a lot of waste. And how can we reduce the amount of waste? It's one thing that we can think of to increase the sustainability of the fashion industry. So there's some words when you think about sustainable fashions that you can think of, that you can relate to, right? So for example, any words here you have heard of. When you go shopping, you see it on the advertisement, maybe. When you go shopping and you see in the advertisement some of these words.
Sometimes.
Which one? Which one have you seen? Green, maybe? Green is being used quite a lot.
Yeah.
Green. So green, handmade and eco. Yeah, handmade. So handmade, it's sustainable, right? Because it's not produced large scale, right? And it's more unique items. When we do have a smaller productions, the impact on the environment would be less, right? And sometimes they may use old materials to do the handmade as well. Upcycled. Have you heard of the term upcycled before? It's different from recycled. Upcycled.
Nope.
No, right? Yeah. So recycle, we just for a piece of clothing, we turn it back, and then they may tear them apart and it becomes garment again, and they may make other kind of clothes, right? But upcycle is to take a piece of old clothing and then use some human ingenuity and design and skills to turn it into another product that has new values to it. I know a fashion designer, she only do upcycling. She doesn't work in a big brand. She has her own studio, and so she will take in any old items clothing and she will make a new item from it. So one of her favorite is taking old pairs of jeans and use it to make blouses or to make 旗袍, 旗袍, right? So that's upcycling. An old piece of garment can have a new life. I do it sometimes, but I'm not like a fashion designer. So I have some old clothing, but these are good fabric. So I turn it into maybe window drapes, so I can still use them. So that's upcycled. Conscious, do you know the term conscious? Here, conscious. Conscious buying or conscious consumption is also related to sustainability. That means we think before we make a purchase decisions, right? We think about, do I really need this? Do I already have 10 similar pieces of items, right? Would that affect the environment? How long am I going to wear it, right? So conscious purchase, that's also related. Ethical. Sometimes some items are not very ethical. I don't know if you heard about animal testing. Sometimes they have new chemicals or they need to test if it's safe. So to do the testing, they will use animal to try on, animal trial to see if they're safe.
Yeah, like for the lipstick.
Exactly. Some people think that's not ethical because of the product that I'm using, other animals will be harmed because of what I'm using. They think that is not fair to the animals. So that's not ethical. So certain brand, I don't know if you've heard of Body Shop, they promote that they're ethical. None of their chemicals are tested with animals, right? So yeah, so these words are very much related to sustainable fashion. So when you go to buy an item, maybe keep one of these few words in mind and ask, other than just, is this suitable for me? Does it look good on me? You can also ask, does it generate a lot of waste because of this clothing items? Is it handmade? Is it ethical? So you can have more thoughts on the clothing you buy. Okay, so let's get a little bit quicker on this. So again, this is how we consume. So that's the general statistics we got in most of the, we call it fast fashion, fast food, right? We order very quickly, eat very quickly, and that's a meal. So fast fashion, it's one of the unsustainable way fashion industry is. That means we buy new clothes very quickly. The fashion industry change new clothes or new series of clothes because they want to sell more items. So on average, we're only wearing our clothes for maybe 5 times and then we throw them away. And it says here 1/3 of the clothes in our closet never or rarely worn, right? Impulsive buying or impulse buying because of discount. Yeah, they always do this. Buy 2, get 1 free. And then what do?
My mom is like that online.
Yes, then you buy 2, right? They always say, oh, buy 1 more, you'll have half price. Then you buy more, right? And end up buying more than what you actually need. Okay, and the oldest piece of clothing on average is around 6 years old. How old is the oldest piece of clothing? Your oldest piece of clothing?
8 years.
8 years, but you won't wear them anymore, right? You're 2 years old. You can't wear them anymore. But why do you keep them? For memory's sake? For memory?
I don't know. I don't even know why I keep it.
That's good. Keep it. That's a good vintage, or for other people as well. And we do spend monthly, as we said, they spend more. Some people spend more on clothing than on health or educations. And yeah, so this is just a comparison. Do you think you spend more on clothing or your mom spend more on clothing? Okay, so it says that in terms of money, our generations, the baby boomers, your mom's generations, or yeah, they do spend more. But you guys buy more clothing, or you would, if you don't change your patterns, you would buy more pieces at a cheaper price. than the baby boomers, and but there is a increasing awareness of wanting to buy more sustainable clothing, which is better, a little bit better. But in the end, after we've looked at all of these figures, right, or all of these statistics, I guess to change our consumption pattern, especially in the way we consume fashions, consume clothing, we can think about this hierarchy I was talking about. So we can think about starting always from prevention, right? Do I really need that piece of clothing, right? Or when, to avoid waste generation, when a piece of clothing like is torn, there's a hole in it, what do we do? Do we just throw them away immediately? Or do you actually, maybe your mom, your parents would give your old clothes to other people, right? Because when you grow your body size, so exactly, right? Instead of wasting them, throwing them away, you can ask if other people younger than your age may want them, right? Actually, for my sons, I haven't bought new clothes for him maybe for 2 years. Because he has people older than him, so we inherited so many clothes, and many of them were worn only like 4 or 5 times, so they are as good as new. And yeah, so that's prevention, reuse. That's what we're talking about, reuse rather than buying new ones. Then we think about recycles, because recycles take energy to tear it apart and make new things, right? We can think about energy recovery, burning the clothes for energy, but again, it's better to think about the prevention and reuse first. And the last one we should think about is disposal. Cool. And yeah, so let me introduce some ways we can contribute to a sustainable fashions. As I said, there are in the one that you're talking about, there are these secondhand fashion store. So you can copy some of these names and go shop around. Like as you see, they are very nice clothes. They will be cleaned, sanitized, and be put in a nice place. The owner actually source them and find particular style, right, suitable for different people. So there's Green 80s, Luxford, it's Granny Kitty, not Clean Kitty, Hipster 9. So you can take a look at that. And there's this also very interesting site called Buy Nothing. So you can go buynothing.hk. They will see this. You can post anything you want, but you don't want to buy, and you may find them. Okay, and so you can borrow or share stuff. So instead of buying new things, you can try sharing or borrowing, and you can also donate your stuff to other people. And yeah, so we'll skip that. And their recycling program we talked about in H&M and Zara. So rather than throwing them in dumpster, put that and close the loop. And yeah, and they can actually turn the fabrics back into new ones and make new pieces of clothes. These are some new technologies. And another type of business model, apart from secondhand, is rental, right? Because since we're only wearing some certain type of clothes for a few times, we, rather than owning it, buying the item and storing it in our closet, we could rent it. So there are some local store, you can rent really nice designer clothes, right? Nightgowns or princess dress, right? So you can go like style carousels, wardrobe bisters, and this one, Prada dress. So you can go online, like clothes rental. It's pretty cool as well. So any questions you have about sustainable fashions or responsible consumptions and productions today, feel free to ask. We're a bit behind.
So maybe I ask maybe Mayfair, Cheryl, Sian, how would you do your and I'm picking on your mom. Usually mom would like to buy more clothes. Do you think you can encourage your mother to maybe buy more secondhand clothes, or not buy, or maybe rent them if they have like a wedding they need to attend? So how would you do actions? So maybe Olivia, can you show the actions with the Good Life Goal?
Yeah.
I think all these 4 students have attended yesterday, so
Yeah.
they already know the schedule, but maybe we can ask them to see how can they be a more sustainable shopper. Yeah, this one.
This one.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
So actually the buy nothing group that Olivia share, other than clothes, you can also, let's say I need to have a CD machine, or I need to rent some, maybe a toy. You can actually do it in the group instead of buying. Okay, so Cheryl said my mom sometimes get clothes from her sister and give it to me. That works as well.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. And I think one thing we can also do is to help each other from being an impulsive buyer. The impulse buying, right? Is it Macy or Sean said your mom always get into those discount trick and end up buying more. So what can you tell her next time if the salesperson said buy two you get one free? Why don't you buy one more?
So I think in Hong Kong it's very easy to buy things because every you go to Uniqlo or you go to some shop, it's so cheap. We just buy without thinking about it. So maybe hopefully next time when you buy something, it doesn't need to be clothes. It can be anything, maybe like a toy. You can think, do you really need this toy? Or you can actually go to your friend's place to play the toy. You don't need to own the toy, but you can still, or maybe you can share the toy with your friends. So it doesn't need to be fashion. It can be anything that you use as well. Or even maybe drawing stuff. Maybe you like drawing. I know, I forgot, is it some of the students here yesterday said they like drawing. Is it something that they can share with their friends, like the color pencil or like some clay or whatever that is? So I will make a little promotion. So tomorrow is natural history. So I will talk about strange and unique animals in Hong Kong. You will learn about like leopard cats or coral or octopus. So if this 4 student here, I saw you yesterday, if you can join tomorrow and join us for the week, it will be very good. You join tomorrow, right?
Cool.
Okay, if that's it, I think we can end today. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.